Welcome everybody to 1 hour of miniature goodness. Welcome to the show, and today we are doing some Bugbears from the Bones 6 Kickstarter. I have got 3 prototype metal miniatures from Reaper, which is absolutely amazing. But before I start, can I just check the sound is working okay? Now, I have fiddled with all the settings. I've hardwired the microphone into the PC, so hopefully we got better sound today and we're in sync. So let me know in chat if you can hear me okay, and if you, yes, all good. Awesome stuff. Okay, let's say hello to people in chat. It's already shot up, so I've missed quite a few of you. So repeat yourselves and I'll say your names out. Now, you got Scorpio there, you got Gareth the Star Wars Man. I see the Waffle Witch is in chat. We got Rod's in chat, Nafe's in chat. Renegade Shank, who's driving, don't you dare. Just keep driving. Don't watch any telly while driving, Shank. The Goblin Emperor's in chat. And of course Tal's in chat. Awesome stuff. Welcome everybody. Okay, so Bugbears, absolutely awesome little Bugbears. I'll show you the Kickstarter Bugbears. These are the Bugbears that you can get from the Bones 6 Kickstarter. These are metal versions. You will get the Bones versions. They are sculpted by Bobby Jackson. And what I'm going to do today is just do a nice little speed paint on one of these little Bugbears to show you a quick way to get them all nicely painted up for your tabletop. What I'll do later on in the show as well is I'll show you how I'm getting on with my Reaper Miniatures Tropical Island. Tropical. Now, they're very, very nice Bugbears. I think there's 5 different types that you get in the set from the Bones 6 Kickstarter. But I was lucky enough to get these 3, which is fantastic. And they are heavyweight metal as well. And the last one absolutely beautiful, beautiful miniatures. Now, what I'm going to quickly show you before we start is you can get, if you can't wait the 2 years, because once you've backed the Kickstarter from Reaper, you're going to have to wait 2 years for your Bugbears. So if you can't wait 2 years and you need Bugbears now, they've got you covered because they have got Bugbears as well. Now, I have got this. This is a very special Bugbear as well. Reaper sent me this one. It is the metal version of the Bugbear by Bobby Jackson. Now, this is for the Bones USA line. You can actually get this now from the Reaper website. It's an absolutely beautiful miniature and will fit in nicely with the new Bugbears. So this one is available to buy now on the Reaper site. Plus, we got this one here by Jason Weeby. This is the pumpkin head Bugbear. So you can have a pumpkin head Bugbear. And I want to show you this one because I got one of my old school. I picked out one of my old school minis. This is one of the old school Reaper miniatures. As you can tell, if Mr. Kwood was in chat, he would be able to tell you as well. This packaging is from 2008, so this is a 2008 edition Bugbear. So we're going back a few years, but this is from the old heavy metal line from Reaper. And it's an absolutely fantastic Bugbear, which you can still buy, this metal version, from the website. They also do this version in the Bones plastic, which is a lot cheaper as well. So they have got a nice selection on the website, which you can actually pick up all these little Bugbears now. But what we shall do is we'll get some paint on the palette and we can start. Today is all browns, so yes, we're going for my wood stained brown, of course. We're going to start with the dry brushing of the fur. Get all the dry brushing done first, and then we'll move on to the skin tones. Are you talking about my cat in chat? You're gonna have me in tears in a minute. Stop talking about my cat in chat. Right, we got some. I'm telling my dad and my partner off. We got some shield brown. Yes, talking about the cat is very, very difficult for me, so we tried to not discuss it too much. Okay, so we're going to start off with the dry brushing. We're just going to go over all the fur areas. Now I just used little bits of wood and some blue tack or white tack to stick on the miniatures to the base. And it's quite a heavy miniature to actually hold. There we go. So what we're going to do is just slowly start going over all the fur areas of this miniature. So it's just dark brown, and we'll also be using this brown for the skin tones as well. Now most of you know when I do my dungeon miniatures, I like to keep them all nice and dark and gritty. You can always copy the way I paint things and use lighter paints, of course, but I do like to keep all my miniatures with a nice dark feel. So I'm just going to fly into all this painting now, just get all the fur covered. We all start with the dry brushing first if you're doing these type of miniatures, because it's the messy part. When you start doing the skin tones and the rest of the miniature, you can cover over all the bits of the flicking with the old dry brush. Hello Corey, hello Bull GM, awesome to see you in chat. Now the Bugbears have a little like a little beard going around, so let's just add a little bit of darkness going around the beard. We'll carry on to this one. We'll do all the fur first. We got an hour, so we should have time to get most of these miniatures done. And we got 5 days left of the Bones 6 Kickstarter, so if you have not backed the Bones 6 Kickstarter, I would recommend you jump on now and get yourself some very, very affordable miniatures, because if you don't back the Bones 6 Kickstarter and you buy them in the future retail, you're going to be paying almost double and sometimes triple for the prices of the miniature going retail. So the Bones 6 Kickstarter, all the Kickstarters have been absolutely amazing value for money. If you are a miniature collector for Pathfinder, Dungeons and Dragons, totally recommended. Now I know Nath in chat. Nath has actually backed more Kickstarters than I have. I started backing the Bones Kickstarters at Bones 3. But what happened with me was I was able to pick up Bones 1 and 2 from eBay. So I actually bought the complete Bones 1 and 2 off eBay at a later date. But I didn't start actually officially backing the Bones Kickstarters until Bones 3. But Nathan chat, he is hardcore. He has been the Reaper boss for Kickstarters. Hello H&H Minis. Or should I call you Brutus? So just adding the initial brown on the fur first. Like I say, at the minute you don't see much really. What happens is all of a sudden it'll suddenly take shape and the colours will start popping and things will come to life. Again, we're using the black undercoat, and we're going to use that black undercoat to our advantage by using it for shades on this miniature, on all these miniatures. But initially we're just getting this brown on where the hair is. And what we'll do is when we get to the skin tone, we'll paint the skin tone directly onto the miniatures. Like I say, these are the metal versions. You won't be able to buy the metal versions. They will be in Bones USA or Bones Black plastic. Now it does say on the bottom of these miniatures Bones USA, so I am assuming you shall get the Bones USA versions of these miniatures in your Bones 6 Kickstarter. Now, Bugbears, I think, are absolutely fantastic. I don't know if Tim is in chat. Well, it's Tim and Tal. We did a Kickstarter. We did a campaign, a little Roll20 campaign with Tim and Tal. And of course, we ran into a Bugbear village, and there's little baby bugbears in this village, and it was so sad because we ended up slaughtering the whole village of bugbears, but we didn't know there's these little baby bugbears in the village. So what happened is we killed all the adult bugbears, and then we went into one of the tents in this little camp where the where the bugbears were living on the campaign, and we opened the tent and there's all these little bugbears all looking at us with their little eyes, and we just slaughtered the whole village. I think that was the saddest moment ever in one of my D&D games. It was absolutely horrifying. So anyway, it's Tal's fault. Totally Tal's fault. That's the thing with Dungeons and Dragons. You just have no idea. You just have no idea what you're getting into. I'm sure there wasn't baby bugbears. What happened was they were added just to upset us all. I think we all needed therapy after that game. Okay, I'm just going to add a little bit of skeleton bone onto my palette here. Don't talk about the rats, Tal. The rats. Another game. Another game Tal was running, and Tal's a D. Actually, no. I think Tal was you the DM in that game, or was you in the party? I can't remember. Anyway, we was in these caverns, and we came across this massive, great, giant, humongous rat. Now I was playing a goblin character who was like a beastmaster. So I'm this beastmaster, thinking I can talk to all the animals. So I had the inclination that what I'll do is I'll run up to the giant rat, and because I'm so friendly with animals, I shall talk. I shall talk to the beast. I shall talk to this beastie, and stop it from attacking the party. And anyway, safe to say I nearly died. It didn't work. Okay, what I'm doing here is I'm adding a tiny bit of the skeleton bone to the brown here on the palette, and I'm just mixing it in. I was just going a little bit lighter, and this is just for the hair of the bugbears. Hello, Michelle. Okay, what we're doing here, we've still got the little bit of brown 50-50 with a little bit of the skeleton bone. This is just to highlight the hair for the bugbear. Go a bit closer there, and we'll go around the beard. Just hit the bottom of the beard. Yes. Yeah, Tal's a nutcase. He's an absolute nutcase. Bull GM. I mean, the Bull GM will be playing. We will be playing our game soon with you. It's always awesome to play in a little game. I want to get to play more Dungeons and Dragons. I just haven't had the time lately, including joining Tal's game. Nafe in chat. Nafe's got a game I want to join as well. So there are a few different games that I shall be joining in the future. Once I've caught up with my backlog of work, I shall be jumping back into quite a few more Dungeons and Dragons games, because I am missing the fun that we are having or used to have in game. But as you all know, life gets in the way, and sometimes responsibilities mean you have to do other things. Hello, Ty. Okay, again, we're just going over quite lightly over the fur. Like I say, Bugbears are very, very simple to paint. It's just nice browns, a little bit of highlighting, and you can really get a nice little army of Bugbears going within the day, or a few hours. Like I say, my painting is for tabletop quality miniatures. You can spend days on one miniature, nothing wrong in that. I just like to kind of speed paint all the way through all my miniatures. My fun, I enjoy actually painting this way much more than really concentrating on a showcase miniature. My thrill is just getting as many miniatures painted as possible to a standard that I'm happy with. Just getting all the little furs done. Very, very nice. These are little Reaper. These are little brushes, pro brushes from Reaper. They are the this is the large dry brush from Reaper. Highly recommended. But I also recommend the Army Painter line of brushes for price and quality as well. I'm not going to ever say any different on that one because they do make some fantastic brushes. They have a nice fixed stem. The Army Painter brushes, which gives me more control because I got quite stodgy Goblin King fingers. Okay, so that's a little bit of the fur done, and as you can see, they're starting to come alive now where the fur is. I just double check. Okay, now what we can do now with the dry brushing as well, we'll do some of the metal areas. I'll just wash my brush. Like I say, it's very important to get all the dry brushing done first before you start on any other areas of your miniatures. Actually, we'll go on to the wood. As you can see with these shields, and we've got some nice wood effect going on the shields. What I'm going to use for the shields is we're just going to dry brush shield brown over those shields. Like I say, it just gives a nice little hint of colour and just picks out the wood a little bit nicer. So we're just going quickly across the wood, boom boom boom. So, and you can see he's got a little, there's the pole to his weapon there, so we'll just quickly go over that. Just a little dry brush back and forth. Hello, Waffle Witch. I'm not sure if I said hello to you earlier, but I'm saying again. Yes, they got talking of warlocks. I think they have a Bugbear warlock as well as. I didn't get the warlock with my little set, but I think you get a little warlock in the set that you buy from the Bone 6 Kickstarter, which is really very cool. Okay, that's metal. This one's got wood on here, so we just quickly zoom into this one. Okay, so once again we're just going over the wood areas. Again, very fast, simple, a little bit of dry brushing, just picking out and highlighting the wood area. And like I say, I'm not fussed about going over the edges because all these areas are getting painted. So what we're doing is we're concentrating on all the areas that we're just adding that dry brush to, just to get some paint in there. And because we're using that black primer, that's pushing through as a shade at the bottom of the wood, which actually works very nice on this miniature. Okay, so again, we shall carry on, and we'll actually dry brush some of the silver on now. So for the silver, I'm using the plate mail from Army Painter. Take care, Michelle. Thank you for popping on. And good luck in work. Okay, what we can do here is, because he's got the shoulder pad, we can get that done with the plate mail and here. So there's a few areas we can go over with our colours. So we can now there's two ways you can paint metal, and I'll show you both ways. This is the simplest way. Just dry brush heavily over the black. It gives a shade to the actual metal. The other way is what we do when we can't dry brush, and I'll show you that in a second. So what we're doing is just doing the areas that we can get to a dry brush with, and same with his top here, his little shoulder pad. I'm going to do that all in silver, so we just go over all that area, leaving a little bit of black at the bottom of those spikes. That gives a little shade at the bottom of the spikes. So we're just picking out the center of that piece there, and that's done. Now when you do the metal buckles and stuff, what we do here is we'll paint the silver on, and then we'll go over it with a black ink wash. So you're kind of reversing what we're doing with the ordinary black. Okay, let's see if there's anything else we can add. You can do this one in silver. Ooh, you can do this one in silver. Dead Bugbear dropped him on his head. We can get the top tips here done, so we just quickly go hand here. We're just actually adding the silver to the parts we can get to that we don't need to actually paint. So we're just going over all the areas that you know we can just fly through, like so. And of course he's got a shoulder pad as well, so what we'll do is we'll do the shoulder pad. Now I'm going to go up with the dry brush here, so we're going up the side of the shoulder pad, and we're only going one way, and we're pulling that paint up, just keeping it going. It gives a nice shade, and it makes the metal look like it's worn away metal from the shoulder pad. It's just a very simple way of giving an aged look to the metal. That's all I want to do with that one. And you've got that lovely dark effect going down on each level of his shoulder pad, so it's bum 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 steps. Same as when I show you how to do the scales on a dragon. We always go up the scales on a dragon, so it leaves the recesses of the dragon nice and dark with the primer that you've used, and we're doing the same here. You've got a nice dark shade now going along each of the steps on that shoulder pad. Okay, we've got one we can do here on the leg. I'll just quickly go across here. It's very, very simple. We're just going over and adding a little bit of silver. And this last shield is full on metal, so once again we can just go straight over the whole thing with the dry brushing. It's a heavy silver, it's a heavy dry brush on this, and we do it so we can leave that black giving some shadow around the actual shield. And we can just finish off the old club up the top here. Okie dokie. That's nice. And he's got actually a metal pad there. We can actually add a little bit to his leg on this one as well. Very, very simple. There we go. Look, could you just give me an update how the sound is? Is the sound, am I echoing, or is there any problems with the sound so far on the show? Excellent, excellent. I did spend a long time fiddling with the PC, trying to work out what was going on. Hopefully I fixed it. So very, very happy if it is. Okay, so what we're doing now is going back to the Bugbear, and we're going to start painting the skin. Now, again, with the skin on these little Bugbears, well, they're not little, they're huge. A little surfer scale for size of the Bugbears. Okay, again, we are going back into my favourite brown, which is the wood stain brown. And I am just going to put that there. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to block in all the solid. I am actually going to use the black to my advantage. So we are just going to go over all the areas nice and fast. Because this is a very dark brown, when that dries, it'll work very well with the black underneath. And it also makes it a lot simpler to just highlight each brown area afterwards. So again, let's get a bit closer. We're going down into the stomach muscles there. We're just adding, we're keeping the black recesses, and we're just going over all the areas, just like you're doing a highlight after you've added a wash. So I'm just painting all the highest areas and going as far down as I could possibly want to the actual miniature. Again, like on the top of the fine there. And we're just following all the highest lines around this miniature, keeping the black just showing through at the bottom where we are. It's very fast, and it's very simple to do once you get used to it. And what will happen as well is, after all the skin has dried, we shall add a couple of layers, of course, and a few highlights. Then I shall actually add a nice brown ink wash over the whole of the skin areas, and then I shall go back and highlight again over the skin. It doesn't take long. It's a simple process. The longest part about painting miniatures is the drying time of the paint. You can actually be waiting quite a long time for your ink washes to dry. So I normally move on to lots of different miniatures at the same time, so I don't have to wait for my paint to dry. So we're just finding all the places of skin placement, keeping the black working for us. And as you can see, I'm not doing a whole block. I'm just painting on the highest areas of the black and taking it as far down as I dare to go onto the actual skin. And as this brown dries, because it's such a lovely dark brown, it blends into that black perfectly, which means all I need to do to highlight this Bugbear skin is just to add a little bit of white. Thank you for subscribing, Knife. All I need to do to highlight is just add a little bit of that white or the skeleton bone to the brown, and we can just highlight it more and more. As you know, I love painting my miniatures and using the dark primers to my advantage. Now, as we do the back, I can actually show you what I can show you a lot more easier what I mean by how I'm painting the skin. So what we're doing is we're going over the highest areas. We're taking that brown down as far as possible, still leaving a black line. That's very, very simple, super speedy fast. Just go all the way around, follow the brown, boom, boom, boom. And like I say, because it's such a dark brown, we can just let it dry and it will do a lot of the work for us, and it'll start highlighting those skin tones. So we're just keeping the skin as far down as possible. There we are, perfect. A little bit just there. No, his arm. And his fingers, we just go along his fingers there. And that black again is working for us for the shades in between the fingers. We just do the top. Take the brown across the top of the fingers there. Again, just going across the fingers, leaving the black working for us. And as you can see, now that brown is dried on the front, it's blending into that black beautifully. So what we do now is we start adding just a tiny bit of the old, I've got this skeleton bone, and I'm just going to mix it here. Oh, actually, tell a lie, I haven't painted his face. Let's go back and paint his face. Okay, so going back to the original dark brown, we need to do this, it's important. He's got his little ears there, so we'll just go over his ears. Now, I'm not going into the deep recesses of the ears, I'm just doing the tops of the ears, a little bit on the bottom, and just pulling the paint into the ear and keeping it dark on the ear there. And the same with the face. We shall go to the top here, onto the nose, and we shall take it across his top lip, onto the cheek, and then we shall just do the bottom here, and we just pull that across there. So that's that done for now. Now we can move on to what we was doing. And now we can start highlighting what we've just done. So the first highlight, like I say, I'm just adding a little bit of skeleton bone into the mix of the same dark brown. This is just making it a lot lighter. So it's about 75, maybe 50% lighter. Not too much, we don't want it over bright. And then we can just highlight again on these muscles. This time we don't go as far down as we did the first time, we just highlight the actual skin onto the chest there, and more centralized this time. So what happens is it rounds off the actual chest muscles of the bugbear. And a little bit there, and a little bit there. And just here. So we're going over all the areas that we've just been over, and we're just adding a second highlight to the skin. It'll show better on the back, so we'll move on to the back. And I'm just using exactly the same colour I started off with. All I'm doing is adding a little bit of skeleton bone into the mixture and mixing it in and making it a little bit lighter. But this time we're working more, so we're imagining the light going down from the top of this miniature, and we're just taking the light source down a little bit, keeping it dark at the bottom, of course. Top of the feet there. See, just top of the heel I'm going for here. Hello, Painterly Git. Oh, don't worry about being late, just turning up is awesome. So what we're doing here on the fingers is I'm just adding a little bit of light source to the top of the hand there, just by adding that little bit of extra light on the brown. So now we're just doing the top layers of the skin, and I've added a little bit more skeleton bone to the mix, and we're just going to the highest highlights now of the skin. Very, very simple to do. Just what we're doing is we're keeping the paint to the top of the muscles now. So if you look here at the bottom of the muscles, we've got the black going into the darker brown, and then halfway up the muscles, what I'm doing there is I'm making it lighter and lighter. So you can imagine the light source is shining down like so on the miniature. So the light source is going down. So what we're doing is painting all the highest areas now with the lightest brown, as if it's catching the light. And it's the same with the face. We just move around. Top of the ears, we're just adding a little bit of the lighter brown to the top of the ears. Same on this side here, a little bit of lighter brown to there. And of course we do the same with the lip as well as. So the top of this lip here, we can just pull down some of this light. Just there. And I think we just add a tiny bit there. It's very, very simple to do. I hope you are all picking up some inspiration for your bugbears, and how simple you can get a nice little bugbear painted up for your tabletop games. Right, I need to give my brush a wash. Thank you, Rod. Yes, I do love bugbears, goblins, gnolls, gnolls as I call them, gnolls. Yes, I've always been more of a fan of the enemy of anything, to be honest. I remember with Star Wars, I was always rooting for Darth Vader, you know. I wanted Darth Vader to win. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll start working on the shield. Once this paint is dry, we shall go back over the skin. But as you can see here, it's a very, very simple effect, but it works very nicely for the miniature. So what we'll do actually is we shall go onto the polished leather. We'll start adding the leather to this miniature here. This is polished leather by MSP Paints. When establishing lighter raised areas, do you have any tips for blending to avoid such notable brush strokes? Whenever I try this, I get bothered by the hard borders. Now there's two ways to cover that. One is, for example, this miniature here. I've only gone so far on this miniature. What will happen, Wafflewitch, is, as you can see, yes, I got brush strokes, but what happens is I shall add my brown ink wash. The brown ink wash will go over the whole of the skin areas, and what happens is the brown ink wash, it'll still pull out the colours that I've done there, the shading. It'll make them a little bit darker, but it actually covers a lot of your brush strokes and blends the paint into the actual work. And what you can do then is just slowly build up your colours again over the ink wash after you've added the ink wash. But that's also why I like to add ink washes last. Sometimes I won't even highlight over an ink wash, so I'll do all my highlights like I've done here, and then I'll add the ink wash, and that will actually cover up a lot of nasty little brush marks. Blending, on the other hand, I got lots of videos on wet blending, but I shall do lots more videos on wet blending for you. Now with the wet blending, if you get your wet blending correctly, you shouldn't have any brush marks. It should just be a complete blend of colours going into the paint. And normally, if you're doing wet blending, the reason why you're getting marks is because you've probably got the paint too thick. When you do wet blending, you want to use quite a watery mix. That helps the paint blend together, but not too watery, or you'll end up with a pool of paint. Okay, let's get some silver added to this mini. Like I say, you can ask any questions in the Discord chat as well. And it's not just me in Discord that's awesome at painting. Gareth and Nath, Tim, Painterly Git, HNH Minis, they'll all be able to answer all your questions as well and help you along. There's just the people I can think of off the top of my head, so I apologise to any goblins I didn't mention there. There'll be riots otherwise. And of course there's Tal. Bugbears are definitely a fantastic dungeon crawl monster. Just by adding the two tones here, we've got the brown and the silver, the shield starts to come to life. Now again, I will add probably brown ink wash to the middle of that. What we can do is just add this buckle. This is what I was saying, in certain places you can't dry brush. So this buckle in the middle of the bugbear here, we can just go over with a little bit of silver. A very simple way to finish this little buckle off is then by adding a little bit of black ink wash. And then of course we can highlight again with the silver we've added in the first place. Okay, so let's move on to the actual brown that I was telling you about. Remember when you use metallic paints as well, I'm always going to keep repeating myself, so I hopefully someone will learn some things, is when you use metallic paint, always use a different little pot of water. I've always got two pots of water, look, in my manky little old Games Workshop pots. One is for metallics only, to wash my brushes in. You always use one separate for metallic and one for your acrylics, and the reason being is the metallic has all these silly little metallic-y bits in it, little metallic-y pigments. Now what will happen is if you wash your brush and then dip it into the other brush, into the other water, you'll end up with little bits of metallic on all the other parts of your paint, and you don't want that, so you always keep the two paints separate. Okay, let's move on quickly. We shall just add, I didn't even put it on my palette, getting carried away with myself here. Painterly Git. Bugbears are a cousin to hobgoblins in Dungeons and Dragons, correct? Is Tal in chat? Is Tal in chat? Answer the question, Tal. Tal's probably like this with the monster manual. I don't know. I don't know. Why? Okay. Let's move on. Mikey's having a funny 5 minutes. Let's carry on. Okay, so this is the, let me start with polished leather. Now the polished leather, I do find you sometimes need a couple of coats of the polished leather to actually work, but we're going to just start adding this to this miniature here. As you can see, it's It's not a very strong colour, so it does often need a couple of coats, but we shall get the first coat on anyway. Again, I am going to use the black to my advantage by leaving a little bit of black in the recess of this miniature. Tal doesn't need the monster manual. He is all-knowing. If he's all-knowing, how come he hasn't answered the question yet? Oh, I love having a pop at Tal. I really, really do. Yeah. Oh. All the times he's tried to get me killed in Dungeons and Dragons, that's what it says. I do love working with browns as well. Browns, I love green. Green is my favourite colour. Again, we're just leaving all the dark areas. What I'm trying to do now is I'm just trying to concentrate on this one miniature because time is ticking on. So I am just going to quickly go over. Yeah. As you can see, I'm leaving little areas here black. That's for a reason, for shadow. It doesn't matter if you block in all the colours. We all paint in different ways, so please don't ever watch my shows and feel like you have to. There's a certain way of painting. I watch lots and lots of people painting miniatures. I paint my own way, how I like to paint. That does not mean you have to paint the way I paint. If you can pick up inspiration, that's perfect. But if you are happy with the way you are painting, that means you're doing it right. And that's all that matters when you paint miniatures. If you're having fun, then you're doing something right. And it doesn't matter how you paint. I'm just showing you guys how I paint and how I like to paint. It doesn't mean it's the ultimate correct way. I don't think there is a correct way. If you get that miniature looking the way you want it doesn't matter how you paint it, then you're on a win-win situation. And again, if you are having fun while painting, it's even better. So don't ever feel that you have to follow all the professionals. Paint the way you want to paint, and if it works for you, absolutely fantastic. I've never been I think the word is somebody who follows somebody else. It's caused me lots of trouble in the past because I won't do what people tell me. I'll do things my way. Okay, he's got a little wristband there. We'll just go to the top here. Just quickly add a little bit of brown. Like I say, a nice, very simple paint today, but it's a paint that actually looks fantastic once done. I've painted many bugbears over the years, and I've always painted them the same way. And I just think they look fab in this colour scheme. A lot of people like to paint them a little bit brighter with a brighter skin tone and a brighter fur, but again, I'm a dark person. I'm a very dark person. I like my miniatures to be dark and gruesome in the dungeons to scare everybody. Okay, this is coming on very nicely now. What I'm doing is I'm spinning around and I'm just adding more and more of this colour, the polished leather, and I'm making it heavier in places and just leaving it lighter in other places, and we're just building up that colour there. Renegade Shank. This is Renegade Shank. Just dip it into the paint and you're ready. Renegade Shank is also a good friend of Tal, by the way, so you kind of understand where he gets his painting attitude from. Okay, moving on. Good. Okay, now the time is ticking on, so what I'm going to do for the last 7 minutes is I'm going to quickly show you how I've been getting on with the Treasure Island gaming board. Do you all want to see the Treasure Island gaming board? Do you? Tell me, tell me. Show me the gaming board, Mr. Goblin King. Show me. We want to see it. Like I say, it's a work in progress, but I have been doing a little bit of work on it. What I shall be doing is we shall be continuing with the Tropical Island gaming board in the coming weeks. But I just wanted to show you how I'm getting on. I'm very, very happy so far. There's still lots to do. But it's actually coming on very nicely. I don't know if you can see that very well, this manky camera. There we go. So what it is, I've painted the actual sea here, and I airbrushed the sea in. It makes it a lot easier to paint sea. So what I've done with the sea is we've got a very, very light blue going around the edges of the sea. And then what we do, we add Archie Tenchi, hello. That's that. And then we've gone into a darker blue, and then we go into even a more darker blue. So it's all just a spray, just an airbrush, very, very simple, but it gives a nice deep effect to what we're doing with the miniature. I've added a little bit of a yellow effect with the ink wash on my boats. It still needs a lot of work to do, and I've added decking to the sand here. This is just little bits of cut off wood, so they've been added. And of course we got these little palm trees. Now the palm trees still need to be painted. They need to be taken off and repainted as such, but you get them from China. You get like a little pack of these pine trees and get them on eBay. Okay, so you buy these on eBay for about £3, absolutely ridiculously cheap price. So what I'm going to do is I'll paint up all the little trees, but these are fantastic for doing the old Treasure Island goodness. Okay, let me give you a little 360 so far of this. I think it's coming on very, very nicely. Like I say, still a little bit of work to do to the miniature. But what I'm planning for this miniature is, you can see I've done all the edges here. It's going to be a complete island, so it's going to be four 12 by 12 gaming boards, and they'll all be interlinkable. So we'll have one there, so you'll have a 4 set, and then of course you'll have this little miniature island in the middle of the sea then, with all these little Reaper miniatures, and you'll have all the little huts. So it'll be a complete 4 set build that we can play our games on, and I think it'll just be fantastic for what we get up to. But I shall be continuing this set in about a week or so's time. Now, on my next stream, what day are we on now? The next stream again is probably the day before the last Kickstarter finishes. The Kickstarter Bone 6 Kickstarter finishes on Friday. So Thursday I'll probably do another show doing some kind of Bone 6 work stuff. I have got the Kobold's paint set. Now I know Rod in chat has got the Kobold's paint set as well. So what I'll probably do with that set is we'll plan the next Monday stream is we'll do the Kobold paint set by Reaper Miniatures. So anyway, until that time, let's go and raid Reaper Miniatures, and I shall say goodnight to every single. Yes, HMS Mini, it's going to be a nice big. It's going to be a tropical island gaming board. You're going to have 4 boards all going around. And then what I'll try to do then, because the pirate ship is absolutely huge, I want to make something where the pirate ship could maybe be on the outside edges, and then you could have a actual treasure island type of Dungeons and Dragons game.